My name is Rachel, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of Christmas. It's like my least favorite holiday. I'm more of the humbug type than the Merry Christmas type. But here we are, it is once again Christmas, so I am going to continue my tradition of reading you a dark Christmas story, and of course, wishing all of you a very Merry Christmas, and thanking you all for staying with me for another year and hanging out and sharing things and having fun. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope you all are having an amazing, wonderful, awesome day. Hope you're having the best Christmas ever. But before we get into the Christmas story, I do have a couple of Christmas cards that I would like to open from a couple of friends. And both of these friends do have YouTube channels. I will be putting their channels down in the description box below, so please go check them out if you have a moment. And this first one says, "Hi friend, season's greetings to you." And this is from my friend Tabby from, is it Tabbyz Hauls? It used to be under a different name, but I believe it's now Tabbyz Hauls. But I will be listing her channel, like I said, down in the description. Can't speak today. That does not bode well for me reading a story. Hopefully I don't keep tripping over my words. But yes, Tabby is absolutely wonderful. She's the sweetest. And thank you so much for sending me a little Christmas card. And it's wishing you and your family a happy Christmas and a happy new year. Blessed be. And let's see here, and it says, the caption in the card is, "May the beauty and wonder of the season touch your heart the way that your friendship has touched mine." Oh, that's so sweet. And then she included a couple of cute little stickers. I love mushrooms. That was great. And this adorable little kitty cat. Make that work. And what's underneath the kitty cat? Oh, we have this cute little moth guy. This pretty little moth. And this cute little like lantern and flower. So thank you so much for sending me this card, Tabby. And then the next card, this one is from my friend Kim, which I think it's hanging out with Kim. I think it used to be Kimmy's Boxes and it's now hanging out with Kim. But either way, her channel will also be listed down in the description box below. And this is a beautiful little purple Christmas tree. And happy holidays, love Kim. And some cute little stickers in there. All right, so thank you both so much for taking time to send me these Christmas cards. I really appreciate it. I don't send Christmas cards, but hopefully you both did receive your little Christmas package. And now we're going to get into this year's dark Christmas tale. I'm running out of short ones. By next year, we're going to have to be reading like practical novels, because I think this is the last short story out of here. Like, well, they're all short stories technically, right? Because they're not novels, but some of these are pretty long. And next year we might be on to one of those if I can't find more dark Christmas stories that are short. Okay, so this one is called "And a Piece of Coal Where Her Heart Once Beat" by Suzanne J. Willis. And I do believe this is a contemporary Christmas story, not an older one. Oh, I have reading glasses. I'll be right back. Let me get my reading glasses. Yeah, I remember when I read last year's Christmas story, I was like... So since then I've gotten reading glasses, which I don't use very often. I refuse to admit that my eyesight is going bad. So I have glasses in my car for driving, and I half the time I forgot to put them on, but when I put them on, I'm like, oh my god, I can read road signs. and same with reading. I'm always like, when all I have to do is find a little pair of reading glasses. Like, these are terrible for distance vision. Now I can't see anything in the monitor at all, but it definitely helps with the actual words on the paper. Like, I guess I need bifocals, because I need something for up close and something for far away, because my driving glasses I can't see anything up close in. So anyway, let's read this story. because today is Christmas, and I'm sure that you have Christmas things you need to go do. Okay, one more time. "And a Piece of Coal Where Her Heart Once Beat" by Suzanne J. Willis. Nothing lasts forever. Not Christmas with its bright lights and spangled promises of good things that never quite come to pass. Not the dreams of magic that it conjures for children everywhere. Not even Krampus. With his sack of coal and his cold heart, Even villains grow old and achy. Age softened their sharp edges, allowing things akin to nostalgia and loneliness to seep to the surface. It made him wish that the mountain had not been hollowed out like a sponge, full of tunnels and caves and oubliettes, designed to deter or trap any intruders, designed to keep Krampus hidden deep inside the mountain, where he could keep his list of naughty children and plan his cruelty for the year to come. For if there were someone to seek him, they would never ever find their way. And if they did, what would they find, he asked himself, stroking his whitened beard and staring into the fire. Nothing but a sad old bovine, hiding himself away from the world. Disgust welled up inside him like bile. How was it that ages snuck up on him? He could not remember ever having been anything like a child. Then again, his type, oh yes, there were others like him, though they went by different names and different forms, lived a long, long time. But nothing lasts forever. Castles crumble, wishes fade. Even the oldest of the trees in the woods on the mountains above die after thousands of years. Then you must make it last, he said to himself, rising from his chair and ignoring the knotting pains in his back. He took to pondering how he might do so while wandering the passages that curled around on themselves. Occasionally he stumbled across the remains of young demons who liked to climb up from the deep fiery pits to try to fight him. Even they could not find their way out into the world or back to hell once they were lost in Krampus's labyrinth. He also stumbled on other things too, the sort that he had thought hidden for all time, long-lost memories of a young boy trying desperately hard to hide his hoofed feet from the other boys in the town. A broken silver fob watch, its face studded with tiny rubies like diamonds of blood, lid carved with words in an old language he could not understand. And in the darkest, furthest corner, where he could not remember having been before, a close jar that covered something shriveled and desiccated in the candlelight. He thought it looked a bit like a heart. As the flame flickered, he could have sworn that it gave one feeble beat, then another. Sorry, this is my first time reading this story too. So if I stumble over some of the words, I apologize. Without knowing why, he lifted the glass gently and picked up the heart. It was warm. He lifted it to his lips and swallowed it whole. A baby's cry, thin and hollow, echoed through the hallway, dying away as a bitter wind blew through behind it. And with that, Krampus knew that what he must do, how he could indeed make his story go on forever. He walked through the tunnels, up the thousands of ancient stone steps, exiting through the huge fireplace of the abandoned castle topping the mountain in which he lived. Slowly, as the snow fell, winter bit the air with its sharp teeth, he set out, stumping across the late winter lands in search of his successor. Hundreds of miles away, a girl, Lula, only 10 years old and small for her age at that, set out in her mother's only winter coat and shoes stolen from the general store in the raggedy strip of shops that had once been a village. She would need them, she knew, but it also didn't hurt to have added another crime to her short list. Theft, though it was small compared to what she had come to think of as the necessary mischief. Lulu had had to do something impressive to show Krampus she was capable of more than plain disobedience. I think I just pronounced her name wrong. It's Lula. Lula and Krampus each walked through the deepest winter, never quite meeting up, although there were near misses in the bare forest where the only company was the howling wolves and the thunder of the hooves of wild horses. And in the abandoned village that stood at the juncture of two frozen rivers, it wasn't until the spring melt had begun that they met on the Devil's Bridge, a stone arch stretched over the still water. Twinned with its reflection, it formed the perfect circle, one through which, it is said, Krampus rode to collect souls. Lula and Krampus each stood at either end of the bridge, looking at one another, both thin and exhausted, as though the winter had eaten them up and left behind husks. Surely not this one, he thought, as the urchin walked towards him, chin held up defiantly. Though she didn't show it, Lula was shaking in her shoes. He was so much bigger than she imagined. Though his back was stooped and his fur matted, and huge horns on his head looked sharp enough to cut glass. His hooves clattered on the stone as he walked towards her. They met at the halfway point. "You?" he asked. Lula pointed to the water below. It reflected the trees as they opened up the spring, the curve of the bridge, the swallows darting above, but neither Lula nor Krampus appeared there. The reflected bridge was empty. She smiled up at him. "Me." Krampus took a Christmas wish from the string garlanding the mantelpiece. In the firelight, the beads glowed vermilion, emerald, indigo. He rolled it between his gnarled fingers before handing it to Lula. The girl smiled at him. "This one will taste like apples," she said, biting into the scarlet wish. It popped between her teeth, making her skin blush. She had already learnt so much in the 9 short months since Krampus had led her back to the ruined castle, down through the labyrinth into his lair. It was the only place that had ever felt like home to Lula. Krampus smiled, pointing to the Christmas tree hung with glass baubles. The children inside them, made miniature by his magic, cried and shook the glass. Krampus and Lula laughed. "You are the naughtiest of them all, Lula, daughter of Krampus, who will take children to hell long after I am gone." Krampus hooked his horns under the string, flinging the wishes into the air. They landed on the long table, turning to a feast of blueberries, sugared violets, crispy goose, steaming pudding. Not quite daughter yet, she thought. Lula lifted her hands to her head, where the beginnings of her own horns sprouted, glossy and dark. Pity flared inside her. For the children in the glass cages, for her parents. Had she truly broken their silly hearts by leaving baby Tom in the woods? The cold must have made his ending quick, and she had had to be sure, hadn't she? No ordinary wickedness would have called Krampus to take her away. Her pity faded as she remembered winters with no food, the spindly trees against the snow whispering sorrow, sorrow. Better to let the winter creep through her bones, to freeze away the goodness that could make her weak. Curving her mouth into a smile, Lula reached across and tapped one of the glass baubles. Coal showered the little boy inside until his tears ran black. Krampus lifted her and spun her about, almost like a parent would do on Christmas morning, although no parent dug their claws into the soft flesh of their child's arms or grinned through sharp yellow teeth. If they had, no child would have remained bright-eyed and giggled back as Lula did. Face to face, each monster and child both. On cloven hooves, Lula and Krampus danced in the firelight, delighting in Christmas misery, then ate their feast of stolen wishes. With each bite, pieces of Lula's heart turned to black, hard coal, for so long as it beat coldly inside her chest, she would scribe her own Krampus tale from the shadowy dreams of a darkening once child. She would forget that she'd ever been a girl called Lula, and all that had cost her. Her reign as Krampus would last forever. So yeah, that was a cute little Christmas tale, right? It's Krampus finding his heir. So, and apparently to become Krampus's chosen, she had to just leave her little brother to freeze to death in the woods. Pleasant. But yeah, cute little Christmas tale. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Christmas Day for this little story as I sit by my fireplace, and and it is actually nice and warm. This isn't a real fireplace. It just has like these little like fuel canisters, but it still throws some heat out, which is nice. But yeah, so that's everything I have for you guys today. Thank you again to both Tabitha and Kim for sending me these lovely Christmas cards, and once again their channels will be linked down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, of course you can give me a thumbs down, and please tell me all about it in the comments below. And please subscribe to the channel. And I hope everyone is just staying happy, healthy, and safe in this incredibly crazy world we're living in. And I will talk to you all soon. Merry Christmas, everybody.